Hello all. Today we're going to learn about London fashion store Biba. Most of us have already heard about this company. Let us know this company in a much better way. Biba was a London fashion store of the 1960s and 1970s. Biba was started and primarily run by the Polish-born Barbara Hulanicki with help of her husband Stephen Fitzsimon. Biba's early years were rather humble, with many of the outfits being cheap and available to the public by mail order. Biba's postal boutique had its first significant success in May 1964 when it offered a pink gingham dress to readers of the Daily Mirror. The dress had celebrity appeal, as a similar dress had been worn by Brigitte Bardot. By the morning after the dress was advertised in the Daily Mirror, it had received over 4,000 orders. Ultimately, some 17,000 outfits were sold. The first store in Abingdon Road in Kennington was opened in September 1964. Hulanicki's first encounter with her new customers was at 10 o'clock on the Saturday morning it opened. The curtains were drawn across the window. The shop was packed with girls trying on the same brown pinstrip dress in concentrated silence. Not one asked if there were any other styles or sizes. Hulanicki remarked the brown pinstrip dresses were being stored in the shop because Hulanicki's apartment was overflowing with boxes of clothes for the mail order service. Fitzsimon dropped Hulanicki at the shop and went to pick up more dresses. Hulanicki went to the bathroom, and when she came back, the shop was packed. The louder the music played, the faster the girls moved and more people appeared in the shop. I had sold every dress by 11. After the last dress had been sold, people were still lining up inside, waiting for the next delivery. The second store at 1921 Kennington Church Street opened in 1965, and series of mail order catalogues followed in 1968, which allowed customers to buy Biba style without having to come to London. The next move in 1969 was to Kennington High Street, into a store which previously sold carpet. Again, it was unique, a mix of Art Nouveau decor and rock and roll decadence. On May 1, 1971, a bomb was set off inside the store by the Angry Brigade. They claimed responsibility for it in its communique 8, which was published in IT magazine. The incident is also referred to in Retro, The Culture of Revival by Elizabeth E. Guffey. Reaction Books, 2006. In 1974, the store moved to the 7-story Derry and Tom's department store, which immediately attracted up to 1 million customers weekly, making it one of the most visited tourist attractions in London. There were different departments, and each floor had its own theme, such as children's floor, a floor for men, a bookstore, a food market, and a home floor, which sold items such as wallpaper, paint, cutlery, soft furnishings, and even statues. Each department had its own logo or sign, which was based on the Biba logo and had a picture describing the department. These were designed by Kasia Charko. The Biba look, or doo-doo look, was fresh little folds with long legs, bright faces, and round dolly eyes. Hulanicki described her customers as post-war babies who had been deprived of nourishing protein in childhood and grew up into beautiful skinny people, a designer's dream. It didn't take much for them to look outstanding. These women were mostly teenagers or 20-year-olds who wanted to have clothes that looked good on them. All the Biba girls remember how women over 30 years old were considered old in the Biba store and probably felt isolated that these girls felt in other stores. The employees were from the same demographic. Among them at one point was a young Anna Wintour, later editor of Vogue. The Biba look consisted of Hulanicki called Auntie Colors, blackish mulberries, blueberries, rusts and plums. Hulanicki described them as looking like a funeral. Biba smocks were uncomfortable and itchy and stopped women's arms from bending, something that did not stop customers from buying their clothes. They became the uniform of the era, with the added bonus of that whatever you bought, you could always get accessories to match. Miniskirts were causing a scene of their own. Every week they got shorter. Although not the first British designer to show the miniskirt, Biba was responsible for putting it on the high street, and as miniskirts were in fashion, everything needed to be associated with them. Biba also brought out some of the first maxi coats. Biba's second store in London, the Kensington Church Street boutique, looked like an old apothecary on the outside, with the wooden window frames beautifully polished. Inside it was dark with the boudoir type of atmosphere, where the clothes hang up on old-fashioned coat racks. The clothes in the beginning were extremely affordable, a dress selling for just a few English pounds, and reflected the sentiments of the fashion-conscious teenagers of that era, with soft fabrics that were form-fitting, very stylish in that they were not gaudy at all, and were all actually extremely comfortable. The 60s teenager was not into wearing uncomfortable clothes. Gone were the days of the corset and quite often the bra. Biba did at that time use bright colors also, bright blues, gold, silver, flouncy chiffons with whirls of muted psychedelic colors and bright bows. Many different kinds of fabric were used, including satin, crepe, chiffon, metallic, a fabric that looked like soft felt, which had not been seen before. Biba also had dresses with sleeves that covered most of the hand with thumb holes or with flouncy chiffon. The Biba logo played a crucial part in Biba's success. The logo was gold and black, which reflected the growing taste in youth for art deco. The logo was designed by Anthony Little. To create a look for Biba in the first store, Little painted the Biba sign above the shop and blacked out all the windows. The blacked out windows didn't allow the store's interior to receive any sunlight, which was vital for the Biba's Art Nouveau atmosphere. The Biba logo was customized in various ways to be appropriate for all the different products. Every product had the Biba logo on it. The labels showing size, color and price all resembled a similar style. Biba was the first to set a standard for brand marketing and the first high street store to create a look for itself. The logo was seen on everything from clothes to food to wallpaper. Biba's layout was innovative and was set to enhance the clothes rather than just to hold them. The clothes were also displayed in an unusual manner from the beginning, hanging on coat stands. Since coat stands cannot hold a lot of clothes, many were needed. Fitz shopped for them all year round so that he could secure as many as they needed in the store while ordering hundreds more. Biba was also the first store that let customers try makeup before buying it. This started an unusual routine. Women came to Biba before work with no makeup on, put it on in the store and then rushed to work. Big Biba was a huge responsibility in terms of expense and organization, but Hulaniki and Fitz felt they needed to keep moving forward. Because of this massive undertaking, Hulaniki said, every time I went into the shop, I was afraid it would be for the last time. No one was aware of how serious the financial difficulties were going to be, and they proved too much for the new entrepreneurs. As a result, Dorothy Perkins and Dennis Day came to save the day and bought 75% of Biba. This led to the formation of Biba Limited, which meant that the brand and the store could now be properly financed. After disagreements with the board over creative control, Hulaniki left the company and shortly afterwards in 1975, Biba was closed by the British Land Company. The Dorothy Perkins shareholder decided that the Derry and Toms building that housed Big Biba was worth more than the ailing business itself. It sold the trademark to a consortium with no connection to Barbara Hulaniki, who opened a store in London on 27 November 1978 on 2 floors in Conduit Street in London's Mayfair. The store was not a success and closed less than 2 years later. There have been several attempts to relaunch Biba, the first occurring as recently of its closure as 1977. Another relaunch took place in the mid-1990s with Monica Zipper as head designer. Barbara Hulaniki had not been involved with any of these relaunches, and due to the use of Biba's logo and similar labels, these garments are easy to pass off as original vintage pieces. The Biba label was relaunched again in May 2006 under designer Bella Fruit. Again, Biba's founder Barbara Hulaniki was not contacted for the relaunch and said it was very painful, believing that the new Biba would betray its heritage. Fruit's first collection, Spring-Summer 2007, was unveiled at London Fashion Week in September 2006 and was criticized for straying from the original concept of low-priced clothes for teenagers needing more polish, as they had a Biba flavor but lacked the retro details that the original Biba designs had. Fruit's second attempt, Autumn-Winter 2007, was also panned as the kind of thing that's already over-available in fast fashion chains. Fruit left the company after just 2 seasons in June 2007 to relaunch her own label. The Biba relaunch failed and the company went into administration for a second time in 2008. House of Fraser bought the company in November 2009 for a second relaunch by an in-house design team, announcing Daisy Lowe as the new face of the label in an attempt to return to its high street roots. Hector Castro and a 5-strong team were selected to replace Fruit with couture hats created by Prudence Millinery. This relaunch was highly successful, outselling House of Fraser's other in-house brands in just 2 weeks of its launch, boosting its year-end sales. Meanwhile, Hulaniki instead designed capsule collections for rival high street company Topshop and once again expressed her unhappiness with the relaunch, attacking the new Biba as too expensive and for failing to reflect the original Biba style. She also signed with Asda to produce 3 to 4 collections of clothing retailing between £11 and £18. In 2014, it was announced that Hulaniki would be a consultant to the Biba brand after signing an agreement with House of Fraser. A musical play called Biba the Musical, based on the story of Hulaniki and the original company, was in the works in 2009. Biba dresses were listed by Leeds alternative rock band Grammatics Inkjet Lakes from their self-titled debut album. Biba's closing sale is mentioned in the lyrics of the Pet Shop Boys track Requiem in Denim and Leopard Skin. In the film made in Dagenham 2010 set in 1968, the main character Rita O'Grady borrows a red Biba dress for her first meeting with Barbara Castle, only to find that the minister's outfit comes from CNA. So we got to know about the various aspects of Biba. We went through the company's history to its present day scenario. Hope the information was useful and have a good day.